Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today's lesson is about website hosting. And I've been in the IT business for over 15 years. And what a lot of people don't know is that the reason I made my first $1 million, started my company with $100 was through the internet. And when I say internet, I'm talking about when Yahoo was the king, when there was no search engine out there. What you had to do is go to directories. And what I mean by that is like Yahoo, you would go click on a link, let's say fitness, then you go into click on gyms, then you click on clotheswear, and then it'll list a bunch of websites. Before Google came over, you could optimize your websites through directories like that, like Yahoo, and then when Google took over, you could do search engine optimization. So in a nutshell, I made my first $1 million turning $100 into $1 million through search engine optimization, through lead production for my moving company. Hey, beautiful. For my moving company. Now, I want to talk about the hosting, because a lot of people don't understand what hosting is. Now, there's basically three or four type of hostings that I'm going to talk about. Okay. Now, before I talk about hosting, what is hosting? Hosting is basically like the cyberspace real estate. Um, if you want to start a retail business, you would go and find a retail shop and then pay the landlord, let's say $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and then inside of that office space, inside of that would be your business, or in your case, your website. But before you could have your website or your retail, you need that office space, which is called hosting. So in a nutshell, hosting is your cyberspace real estate, which you need to rent. And now hosting is divided into um, what's called dedicated hosting, and colo hosting, and shared hosting. And so there's basically three types. So you have shared hosting, and a shared hosting is basically when you have one dedicated server and hundreds, if not 500, 1,000 people share this server. On this server, there might be different type of, hey beautiful, there might be different types of uh, websites. It might be like a real estate website, a pizza place, porn site, all kinds of websites will be on this one server. That's why it's called shared hosting. The good thing about shared hosting is that it's very economic, it's very low cost. It may cost only about $10, $20 a month. Okay. The bad part is that it's really not good for search engine optimization. It's really not good for sending out emails, because you basically have one IP on this server and everybody gets to share that IP. So this one IP for this dedicated server may have thousands of different websites on there, and some of them are spamming via email, some are putting worms on the website. So that whole IP block is going to get allocated as spam through Google, Yahoo, etc. But anyways, it's a very affordable way to do it. It's something that you might want to look into. The next way is called dedicated hosting. And basically in a dedicated hosting, you go to a data center, and for about $400 or $500 a month, you buy yourself a server that they manage for you, in a sense of to make sure that server's running, the hardware's running. If anything breaks, they fix it for you. And you're the only one that has access to this website or this server, which could host thousands of websites. So on a dedicated server, the advantages is that you get your own clean IP address. There's nobody else on the box besides you. Your server's is going to be very fast. You're going to have extremely small load on your server. So there's a lot of benefits with that. And that's what I do with my company. I have a dedicated server, and I have multiple businesses on this server. No other companies on my server. Okay. Again, it costs about $400 or $500, and then you have to pay management, so somebody to manage your box, because all these servers I would recommend running on Linux, Unix operating system instead of Windows. Windows is crap, and they need people to go in there and update the kernel. They need somebody to update the patches. So you're gonna need somebody on there. For a couple of $100 a month, you can get somebody to manage your box for you. Okay. Your next option is what's called colo. And what colo means is that you have your own dedicated server, Let's say you bought it from Fry's, or you bought it from Best Buy, or you bought it from Dell or Apple, whatever, and then you actually ship it to the data center and say, hey, I want you to use my box. Now, this one, it may cost a little bit less because you're only paying now for the electricity and the internet connection. But if something goes wrong with your box, there's going to be delays unless you're able to drive there, or unless you know. So this one's good, but if you really know what the fuck you're doing, you're an IT guy, you know, this is a good option. If you're a business owner, you're really busy, you don't want the spam box, then a dedicated server is what you want, and then hire a manager to manage your box for about $100-200 a month for them to do all the updates, all the patches, kernel updates, PHP, etc. updates, okay? And if you're just starting out, you know, like one of my students, Soraya, with a photography business, you know, a shared hosting is fine. If you're an investor, you don't have no money, a shared hosting is fine. Now, there's also one thing that's called free hosting, but that free hosting is the same exact thing as share hosting. Again, if you have no money, then definitely start with a share hosting or free hosting. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But as soon as you do 1 or 2 deals, go ahead and move up to this level, or go to a higher plan where there's not hundreds and thousands of people on one server, because it just fucks up, okay, your search engine optimization potential. Now guys, for all the real estate investors and all the realtors out there, entrepreneurs out there,